Hey, welcome back, which is we're here a minute ago. Anyway, welcome to the second stream where we are going to be dating Faruzan. Our hangout to be exact. Faruzan get her, however. Now we have this. Boom. So he is here. A mysterious senior. And I really can't play in the dark, am I? Wow, I'm starting to pain. However, I turn on the light, it eased me down. Well, it looks like I'm a light gamer. Okay. Organization active. Oh, here it is.
Even though most of the academia's restrictions have significantly relaxed, I'm still a bit worried that the Matra might give her trouble.
Oh,
I
Tanari.
need to stay here to keep an eye on the situation. Kale, can you head to Sumeru City and find out why she isn't here yet?
Does it have to be me?
I'd only assign a job this important to someone I trust. Are you not feeling well?
Oh no, I'm fine. I've completely recovered. It's just that if I'm going to see her, I think I need to mentally prepare myself first.
I know. You'll have a tough time if you go by yourself. If we could arrange for someone to accompany you...
And we are here in a second, I see. Oh, hang on.
Hey there!
Ah, it's been a while. What a coincidence. I was just thinking about asking you to accompany Kale to Sumeru City.
What made you think I have time on my hands?
Sorry, that's not what I meant. It's just that this matter concerns research banned by the academia. Not the sort of thing you'd shout from the rooftops. Also, you happen to know about this situation? There are very few people I can trust to be discreet right now. After giving it much thought, I believe you're the most suitable person for the task.
Banned by the
It's complicated, and this isn't the best place to talk about it. We'll fill you in on the details once she arrives.
Who? She.
You might have heard about her in Sumeru before. Her name is Faruzan, and she's a very experienced senior researcher.
You say very experienced.
Let's just say that a huge part of Kasharawar's mechanical research over the past 100 years have used her academic discourse and manuscripts as their foundation.
100 years? She's human?
She is, but she vanished for 100 years because of a certain incident. She only returned to the academia after being found in the wilderness a few years ago. Because of that, her current personality can be a bit... strange, as is her attitude towards Kale.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about it.
She doesn't have bad intentions, so you don't have to be scared.
I'll try.
Really have to invite her here?
Yes, Kasharawar and Spontamod researchers are often quite prejudiced, so I can't trust them with this matter. However, Faruzan isn't influenced by modern thinking. In our previous correspondence through letters, she indicated that she'd be willing to help. It's already past our arranged meeting time, but she still hasn't shown up.
By the academia?
I don't think so. With her personality, it's more likely that she got wrapped up in some sort of trouble.
Oh.
Anyway, can you go with Kale to the academia and check on Faruzan for me?
Sure thing.
Thank goodness. I was so anxious.
I'm counting on you too. Kale, don't push yourself too hard. Just go there and see what's going on. Our task is important, but not that urgent. If Faruzan really is in some trouble, come back and tell me about it. We can always reschedule our meeting. After all, if she's distracted by other things, it'll affect her ability to help us.
All right, let's go.
Alright, Faruzan, we're coming to you. Just need to where you are. So she is in the city. interesting. Oh,
Sorry, what did you say? Oh, could you repeat yourself? As you know, I'm sure, hearing goes with age.
Faruzan, I said that you need to give us an answer.
Ah, yes. And did you forget to add madam when you addressed me earlier?
Your hearing is perfectly fine. Madam Faruzan, we don't want to make things difficult for you. However, you haven't been teaching courses or supervising theses these past few years. Isn't this rather problematic as an advisor? Never mind the students. Even other advisors are starting to complain.
And who, if I may ask, complained? If they have any issue with me, tell them to talk to me themselves rather than waste any of your time.
oh.
You don't have to tell me anything. I very well know that it's those people from Haravatat. How I wish they'd put their time into doing proper research instead.
But Madam Faruzan, it has been a long while since you last made any practical academic contribution yourself.
Academic contribution cannot simply be divided between the tangible and the intangible. The issue here, I believe, is that the reviewer doesn't understand the very nature of knowledge itself. In any case, it makes no sense to use a metric like this to evaluate a mentor. Which sage set this rule anyway?
Uh-oh.
I should write a letter of complaint right this instant.
Wait! Madam Faruzan, please let me finish.
That's her, all right. But the person with her doesn't look like a Matra.
They're so young.
Shh! She hates it when people call her young! Her body apparently stopped aging during the year she was gone. So that's why she looks the same as she did 100 years ago.
What happened to...
Okay, I think I'm ready for this. Let's go!
Anyway, Akara Crafts and the leader of Kasharawar would like to invite you to collaborate on this project. They're wondering if you'd be interested. Madam Faruzan? Are you listening?
Mm-hmm. Ah, Kale! Why are you here at the
Oh, why...
academia? Are you feeling better now?
What color? What you did? What? That you just read for us?
I'm much better, Madam Faruzan. It's all thanks to the Traveler and the Dendro Archon. Have you been sleeping well? You seem to be developing some eye bags. Is that brat Tainari forcing you to stay up late again? No, it's because I'm a slow learner. It's not Master's fault. It's good to be hardworking, but you need to take care of your health. I'll have to give Tainari a right talking to when I see him.
Oh no.
I'll also prepare some health supplements for you. There's really no need. Ah, and is the person beside you the legendary Traveler?
A pleasure to meet your acquaintance, madam.
Oh, I've heard much about you before. In fact, I've been meaning to meet you for a while now. It is thanks to you, after all, that the Academia is finally getting back on its feet. Even Kali's illness is...
Ahem. Madam
Oops.
Faruzan, I believe we were still discussing the collaboration with Akara Crafts.
I'd wager it's those Kasharawar dunderheads finding excuses so that I'd go to their darshan. Say no more. I have no plans to change my field of research.
If you're this unwilling to participate in the collaborative project, you can also consider teaching a class. It might be difficult to teach a course with topics that only fall within Haravatat's subjects, but we can't delay this anymore. You need to give an answer. You can teach a course or participate in a collaborative project. If you don't do either, it'll be hard for me to persuade the advisors and students who have been complaining.
Nothing to...
Could you not give me a few more days to consider? This matter has been delayed for so long already.
That's precisely the issue. If you don't give an answer today, I fear that someone will soon escalate their complaints to the sages.
What a waste of free time these folks are. Now you two are here at Tainari's behest, I take it. I'm sorry, but given the current situation, it looks like I'll have to come over some other day.
Give me a moment. Oh yeah, please give me a moment with Kale real quick.
Of course. I shall need some time to think as well.
Alright, Kale. Something? I can talk.
What now? She seems so busy. Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something at Pardees DI, so he hasn't returned to Gandharvaville for several days now. I feel for Madame Faruzan, but I still want to ask her to come with us. But if I get her in trouble with the academia, then she won't have the time to help Master. What should I do? Oh, this is such a headache.
Let's help you solve a current problem
Yeah,
first then.
that would be the best for them both. I'll check with Master later and see if there's anything I can help him with. But I'm sure he'll say, the best thing you can do now is study hard, so I don't have to give you remedial lessons.
Uncle said help Faruzan.
Oh yes! This way she can get her problem sorted out quickly, and then she can go see Master. So if I also stay and help... that still sounds kinda scary.
Observe the situation.
Okay then. I'm counting on you.
Well, back to Faruzan, I believe.
I have to teach students from Haravatat, or owe Kasharawar a favor. It strikes me that they might be even less happy about such a deal than I am.
I think I can sympathize with them.
We're back, Madame Faruzan. The Traveler said that he can stay and help you.
Oh, why I couldn't ask for more. In fact, I'm rather curious about the type of person the Traveler is. You were the one who taught Azar a lesson after all. That said, will I be troubling you?
No,
Is that so? Good. It does so happen that I do have something I need help with. Now, should I apply to teach a course with Haravatat, or join the collaborative project that Kasharawar is proposing? Honestly, I don't want to choose either of them.
More about the Haravatat course.
You might have heard of it before. Haravatat is an academic faction that researches languages and runes. 100 years ago, Madame Faruzan was a researcher from that darshan.
Now, not was. Still am.
Yes, of course. But current Haravatat students can't really... understand her direction of research. So even if she opened a course, chances are that no one would attend.
Direction of
In
research.
summary, I mean to interpret the configurations and solutions of ruin mechanisms via the deciphering of on-site stone carvings and unearthed documents. It'll include research into general documents dealing with such ancient machines.
The research method is supported by Haravatat, yes, but the content deals heavily with both ruins and mechanisms. This will make it difficult for students of this darshan because they don't understand much about mechanisms. Also, there are fewer and fewer unexplored ruins left nowadays, and Kasharawar researchers have been developing their own theories on mechanisms. As such, they don't need to rely on ancient documents.
Sir.
They're far too complacent. Ancient mechanisms are more dangerous and complex than one might imagine. I'm telling you, things weren't like this 100 years ago. All researchers back then were interested in exploring knowledge from a variety of topics. They also gave more respect to unknown mechanisms. Nowadays, all people are interested in are mainstream subjects in popular research. Even if they attended my course, I wouldn't be interested in teaching them. Also, the people here think that my research is outdated and unrealistic, so they keep cutting my funding.
Oh.
Why, I think they could all stand to learn from Kale. She's a hard-working child and respects her elders.
Huh? Why me?
Ah, if only those who came to my lectures were more like you. Speaking of which, are you feeling better? You don't have to confine yourself to Gandharvaville anymore, right?
I just remembered that I have a lot of studying to do. I need to head back and find Master.
Wait, I have an idea. You need to teach
Are you
course?
telling me to start a reading course for Kale?
Yes.
Wait. Although Tainari has academic dealings with the academia, he isn't considered part of it. This means that Kale isn't technically a student.
Have to hold yourself in the academia.
No, he's right. The old academia became consumed by their arrogance precisely because they ignored the public. There must surely be many people like Kale and Sumeru who are passionate about learning, but cannot study due to various reasons. The old academia paid no heed to them. But if I start a reading course for Kale as a pilot, perhaps this shall come to benefit many more people in the future.
I'll need to go back and ask if this is in accordance with regulations.
Oh, save yourself the extra trouble. I'll come with you. If there's any arguments to be had, we shall sweep them aside together.
Oh.
Traveler, Kale, do wait for us a little while outside the academia. I'll be back in just a moment.
Wait! Let's catch up with her.
Got it. Well, Faruzan do know how to go with the... Alright, Faruzan, give us a moment, please. Why are you so fast?
I can't believe she rushed right in after we arrived. She's really headstrong. Oh, how did things turn out like this?
Quite scared of
No,
her.
not really. Madame Faruzan is a brilliant scholar. Even Master thinks so. If she's really going to teach me how to read, it'll definitely be much better than me bashing my head against the wall.
Whoa, bashing your head, hello.
It's just that she can get a bit too passionate sometimes. I don't know how to handle that.
It's completely different from how she...
Maybe it's because she wants to take me in as a student? It's just like that researcher said. The academia has completely changed during the 100 years that Faruzan was gone. I don't really get it. But it does seem like Haravitat's students aren't optimistic about the prospects of doing research with her. Students who are interested in mechanisms and applications of the elements generally enroll in Kasharawar and Spotamod. Madame Faruzan also refuses to accept random students just to make up numbers. She still hasn't found a student she likes, even after all this time back.
So she's a teacher with no students.
But she seems to like my attitude toward learning, so she often asks me if I'm willing to become her student. It's because I'm a slow learner that I have no choice but to stay up late and study. Whenever she compliments me, I feel really guilty.
You're scared of her because...
It's not that. Madame Faruzan respects my choices. She hasn't been trying to persuade me, especially since she knows I need to rest and recuperate. She sometimes brings food to Gandharvaville for me, and each time she says that Master can't find out.
That's not like something a grandmother might do for a granddaughter. That is true, like when your grandmother gave you money, you know. So that's actually true.
Now that you mention it, it does feel a bit like that. Do I really look that young?
Yes.
Kale, Traveler,
Oh.
thank you for waiting. The issue has been resolved.
Waiting like she said, sound like a game Bakugan. There was Alice. Thank you for... That was
I
fast!
argued with the higher-ups and convinced them of the practicality and necessity of educating the general public. If I'm not mistaken, they're the students of my classmates' students. They're a lot less forceful than their predecessors, though. I'd say they caved rather quickly.
Oh.
Amazing.
Were they convinced?
It's just that we need to fill in every single page of the application. It's been a century, but the academia is as picky as ever. Let's see now. What do we need to fill in? Course name, learning objectives, teaching methods, course materials.
How the teacher's supposed to
Suppose
be?
we can fill in the course name last.
So all the teachers did. Oh, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. Our learning objectives teacher speed,
That's a
right?
bit too general, I'd say. After all, this class's target audience isn't toddlers or children, but rather people who already know the basics of reading. As such, we'll need a more specific learning objective. How about proficiency in reading and writing?
That's true. If we use children's teaching materials, we'll only end up wasting a lot of time on things that students would already know.
And you have your job as a forest ranger, Kale. People who attend this course in the future are also likely to have life commitments. We need more effective teaching methods.
What other learning method does color you?
Master always tells me that practice is the best way to learn. That's why I often ask him to help me find simple books to read.
It must have been difficult to get books in Sumeru in recent years, no? Tainari really went the extra mile for you. Expanding literacy is a capital notion. Now that the academia is easing restrictions on the circulation of books, there should be more people who have become interested in reading. It's a great time to conduct this course.
Our court materials then.
So that's next on the list. I fear that I'm at a loss as to which books youngsters like nowadays. Would the legend of Antara be too old of a story?
What old is that story exactly?
Fair. Kale, what have you been reading lately?
Me? I've been reading light novels from Unisuma. I heard that ever since we were allowed to sell
way.
books in Sumeru again, some people set up stalls at Treasure Street to sell light
Wait.
novels. I've been meaning to go there and check it out.
No, are you reading J novels?
Light novels? This is my first time hearing about such a thing, but I doubt I will procure
Really?
suitable teaching materials from the House of Dana. Treasure Street it is.
Okay.
Wait for us, Madame Faruzan!
And here she goes.
You wouldn't think someone as fast as her is over 100. Let's pick up the pace and catch up to her.
Fastest is over 100. Oh crap, she's right there. She's full. I think she's more than 100 now, but then she's still got the
What a long
speed.
and mildly ungrammatical title. And why is the cover so colorful?
Is this your first time seeing a light novel, ma'am? Oh, they're the most popular of books nowadays. Would you like me to recommend something?
Fine. One shouldn't judge a book by its cover after all. May we browse through the books here?
Of course. Why don't you try this one? It's Outlander Brigade, When the Wind of Death Blew Towards the Blonde Samurai.
I
Blonde
heard
Samurai,
that
is
this
that
book's
us?
author describes action in vivid detail.
Now I've only skimmed through a few pages, but it feels like it's all fight scenes. There are only subjects and predicates, and the syntax is a tad
Subjects? Predicates?
The
Uh-oh.
protagonist just ends up fighting in every scene with no proper build-up. Will anyone even enjoy a story that's only comprised of fights?
Is there who don't care about plots?
How about... the good thing about being reincarnated as a hilly churl is that I only need to eat sunsetias to become stronger.
A reincarnation isekai
Isekai
story?
story?
Those are pretty popular right now.
And in real life here it is too. I love Isekai with the bus.
Isekai? What in the world is that? Also, why does it become stronger by eating sunsetias?
Those are what we call tropes.
Tropes? Ah, those fictional rules used to push the plot forward, yes? They're definitely effective in achieving a distancing effect.
Sorry. What is this distancing effect?
However, this book doesn't explain how reincarnation correlates to becoming stronger. Such an illogical rule will affect the coherence of the story. Will readers really accept this?
There might be people out there who will.
How about this? I had to fight tooth and nail to get this in stock.
Oh, that's the latest volume of Onibudo!
Now that's a rather normal title length. Oh, Kale, do you like this series?
Yes, but I don't like it that much.
She clearly recognized that the latest follow in a single class.
Madam, are you going to use this series as teaching material?
Let me see. The dialogue flows quite well, but there are too many phrases here that I don't recognize. Third eye of perception, illusory mirror, and so on. Are these terms that are tied to tropes?
I also thought those names were strange when I was reading them.
She was able to say those phrases. Tom.
It's impossible to derive the meaning of these phrases in isolation. Also, their morphological properties are quite pedestrian, really. Or did the protagonist purposely create these strange names to disorient their foes?
Living are cool.
So there's no deeper purpose. Hi. It's quite hard to understand stories written these days.
You're right. It's such a weird book. But you keep wanting to read the next page.
Kale, you're into this, aren't you?
Even the most popular book in Sumeru back then had greater depth than anything written today.
Was popular book back then?
Yes. A Bahumano researcher wrote it while researching folk legends. The plot had many twists. The world building was fantastic, and even the writing could withstand scrutiny. When it was still being published, many people in the academia were reading it. Even the
Oh, it's
sages back
nighttime.
then
Look, the
all
lights
described
are
the
on.
story as a timeless classic. The series must have concluded after so many years, right? Perhaps it's even more popular now.
Is there a book like that in Sumeru? I've never heard of such a thing before. What's the title?
It's called Tales of Shariar. Do you sell it here?
Tales of Shariar? I don't think I've heard of that
That
before.
was way too long, is it?
When was it published?
About 100 years ago.
100 years ago? Are you pulling my leg? What sort of book can remain popular for 100 years?
The Legend of Antara is popular to this very day, isn't it? I just heard someone telling it a few days ago in a cafe. If an old story like that is still being shared, then Tales of Shariar must be even more popular.
Even if that is the case, I really don't carry that book here in my store.
What? Is that because of the Academia's strict control over books in recent years? I can't believe they've allowed the people of Sumeru to become so uncivilized. How can they not know about the Tales of Shariar?
Tales of Shariar?
Oh.
Oh, wait! I think I heard an antique seller on the other end of Treasure Street mention that name before.
Oh?
I mean, it is a book from 100 years ago. Why don't you try asking for it there?
Tales of Shariar is considered an antique now?
Uh-oh.
How could the Academia have let such an excellent work of literature be forgotten like this? Traveler, Kale, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. Let's meet at the antique sellers.
And here she's just
Madam,
Gito.
wait! Oh no, this is bad.
Oh.
You asked me why I'm scared of Madame Faruzan, right? It's not because I don't know how to respond to her kindness. It's because I'm afraid of that ancient language she researches, because I can barely understand any of it.
That
What
this
if she
counts as a
uses
book.
ancient text as teaching material?
That book only 100 years old, Kale.
Even so, what if researchers from 100 years ago like to use ancient languages in their books? We've got to catch up to her!
Alright, okay. Faruzan, hold up, you... I was about to say something bad, but I just realized. Why you so fast? Slow
Found
down!
it! The 5th volume of Tales of Shariar!
Wow, you actually found it!
I never thought this book would ever get sold.
All right, that's our teaching material secured. We also now know what to call this course. Analysis of Classical Texts. After all, this book is definitely worthy of being called a classic.
Can I take a look?
Uh-oh.
Luckily, the language being used here isn't ancient at all. I can recognize a few words here and there. Huh? But why aren't there pictures in this book?
Oh, well, Kale, books is like different, like novels or novels. Novels, you get some pictures for a scene or something that is very interesting. Books, there's nothing but words.
As long as the writing is good, readers won't need any illustrations to imagine the scenes. Worry not, I shall thoroughly explain the difficult sections. You'll like this book, I know it. After all this time, I wonder if Aaliyah and Aziz ended up together. And who obtained the Desert Gem in the end? Sir, do you have the subsequent volumes of this series?
I don't think so.
Is that so? And here I thought I could finally read the ending. Never mind, I'll keep searching for the later volumes myself. If I'm to use it as a teaching material, it's better to start earlier in the series. Where are the first 4 volumes? Why aren't they all together?
I don't have those either. Actually, this is the only volume I have.
Is this series really that popular?
No. It's not popular at all. Rather, there's absolutely no demand for it.
No demand? Impossible. Back then, I'd come across at least 3 groups of people talking about it during a single stroll at the Academia.
Seriously? No one told me that this book was anything special when I first got it.
Where did you get this from? Can you still contact the seller?
I'm afraid not. This book was sold together with a whole bunch of antique furniture. I didn't even notice it initially. Otherwise, the Matra would have come knocking. Wait, is this book actually worth a lot? It can't be, right?
Afraid not.
That's impossible. No matter how strict the Academia was, there's no way Tales of Shariar could have fallen into such a state.
I do remember a passerby skimming through the book a few days ago. However, he simply sighed and left.
Left the book?
He sighed? Why would he react like that?
It's really look
Given
at
the
her arm.
quality of Tales of Shariar, he should have been entranced after a single glance. I'm sorry. Traveler, Kale, please give me a moment. I'd like to look through this book first.
Oh, it's just like, okay, never mind. I thought that is slow, you know, the
Why is there
ring go
another
full.
misunderstanding between Ali and Aziz? Also, why is there no mention of the Desert Gem at all? And a new character is introduced with no foreshadowing at all? Also, What are all these new names and terms? Is this really the Tales of Shariar I know?
Well, that passerby reacted in much the same way.
Really? Who was the passerby in any
It's
case?
Bada from the cafe over there. You know, the fellow who spends all day telling the legend of Antara. Since that's also a very old story, maybe he knows a thing or two about that, Tales of, whatever it's called.
Then let's go ask around at the cafe.
Huh? Oh, yes. Let's go.
Oh, she sounds disappointed. Cafe over here. Oh, inside. Oh, the cafe where we met Lisa? And she arrived in Sumeru. Okay, let's go ask these random folks about these old books. This buddy right here doesn't look that old.
Another day, another empty room.
Excuse me? But are you Mada?
Yes! Are you here to listen to my story?
Well, we actually came to ask about something else.
Oh,
I
poor guy.
see.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm used to it, more or less. So, how can this terribly unpopular storyteller help you?
Do you know about Tales of Shariar?
Huh? Tales of Shariar? Why, I can barely remember the last time anyone talked about it. My master always talked about how incredibly popular that book used to be. However, I tried reciting a few chapters of it at the cafe, and I found that it's even less popular than the Legend of Antara.
Your master?
Yes, the one who taught me how to be a storyteller. He said that Tales of Shariar was written by his master's master's master. He
What?
also said that this great-great-grandmaster was an academia researcher, and that even the sages liked the series. He wrote 4 volumes back then, and the reviews just got better and better. You couldn't find a single person in Sumeru who hadn't read his books.
And then? What happened next? Why doesn't anyone know about Tales of Shariar now?
Oh, it's hard to tell when it comes to trends. One day everyone liked stories like that, and the next day their tastes change completely. Instead of writing a proper ending, this great-great-grandmaster kept trying to extend the story. To tap into popular trends, he added a lot of tropes. Then, starting from the 5th volume, the reviews started to go downhill.
How could that be?
In the end,
No,
there's no ending. The great-great-grandmaster tried to write a few more volumes, following whatever trends were popular at the time, but the trends kept changing right as he published his books. He got so infuriated that he stopped writing altogether and focused on his research instead.
What? So there's no ending? The readers didn't care?
By that time, only a very small number of people were reading Tales of Shariar. Anyway, my master probably exaggerated. How could a work possibly have been that popular? The only tangible thing my great-great-grandmaster left is the original draft of Legend of Antara. He also left behind many theses from his research phase.
Oh.
When my master talked about Legend of Antara, he'd even quote from those theses.
Oh, interesting.
My master is a much better storyteller than me. Even when we're telling the same story about Antara, he's always able to draw in a huge crowd. But even he won't recite Tales of Shariar due to its ever-changing writing style and its lack of
Like
an
a
ending.
bending.
So, Antara's story is the one that lasted through the years.
Well, not even sages can definitively ascertain the quality of something like a story. In the end, only time can separate the classics from the fads.
Only time?
Madame Faruzan?
It's been 100 years. Perhaps some things I once believed to be great aren't so after all.
I think. Particular. I've been doing changing trends.
Yeah! Master helped me find a lot of famous books at first. But in the end, I realized that I couldn't get into them. No matter how good those stories are, I can't improve my skills if I can't bring myself to read them in the first place. I think the best books for me are the ones I like.
The problem here is actually about improving reading skills.
Huh. Indeed. That is true. Readers' interest in trends of a time are not things that are so easily predicted. What was popular 100 years ago could be completely forgotten in modern times. And yet, 100 years as far as history is concerned is but a blink of an eye. If Tales of Shahryar hadn't chased after trends and instead stuck to its original style from start to finish, it might have stood some chance of gaining renewed popularity. No, even if that didn't happen, at least it would be a work that was true to itself.
Huh? Our conversation is
Kale.
serious.
I don't really get what you're talking about, but it does sound sensible. Looks like I also have to hang in there and tell Antara's story well.
Good thing about the present first.
How unseemly. I almost got carried away because of a single book. Well then, we should get back to the matter of our teaching material. It looks like we can't use Tales of Shahryar now.
A Legend of Antara, then?
No, it's much too old. Kale, you found a book that you liked at the bookstall, yes?
Yes, but I don't really...
Then we'll use that book as our teaching material. Now that I think about it,
Oh.
using a book that you like is the most suitable choice for teaching you how to read. As for the academia, as long as we come up with an appropriate course name, we should be able to get away with this.
Appreciation, no. An analyst of popular... Appreciation of the popular literature.
My, it sounds like you've dealt with the academia before. Let's go with that.
The morning?
Now then, let's return to the book vendor in a bit and buy the latest volume of this Oni Budo for Kale. Ah, but if I wish to use it as teaching material, I have to read it first.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
Speaking of which, other than third eye of perception and illusory mirror, I also espy some unfamiliar phrases from the reader's messages at the back of the book. Such things as, even if it reminds me of my dark history, I still can't help but be drawn in by the story. And the author has written all the things that I only dare whisper into a tree hollow.
Oh.
Why do people use dark history to refer to awkward or embarrassing memories? Is this some slang that was invented in the last century?
Slang.
If one of
perhaps.
our learning objectives was researching linguistic changes over the past 100 years, it might make it easier to get these books approved as teaching material.
Oh, I can tell you what that's all about. Apparently, in their youth, some people used to imagine themselves as someone burdened by fate, fighting against the world, etc. But as they grew older, they started to become embarrassed by such memories. Some would write those fantasies into novels, while others would entrust such tales to tree hollows.
Mata? You know, I suddenly have the urge to hear a story about Antara.
Huh? Why so suddenly?
Is it good to reminisce an old tale in the wild?
I knew it. There will always be people who love the golden oldies.
Oh,
Now,
crap.
let me tell you all about the ancient hero, Antara.
I think just call it shy. Hey, we got our first ending. Awesome. Right, that's the first ending. Now, we either go this way or this way. Alright, let's go here. Wait, okay, where's the way out? Dun, dun. Yo, what's up, bro, dude? Oh, wait. Watching you inspire so run off class maybe because of this two episode. There's no easy again. Say you need to use grabbing this. Right, so is it the best? Before forget chat. Is this? Sorry, I didn't. I was focused into the story. You know, I play Genshin for story and characters, so yeah, I might have been attracted to the story too much. Anyway, how are you doing, Sue? I think you are going to have an exam tomorrow. Take it.
What now? She seems so busy. Master said there's no rush, but I know that he's been busy working on something at Pardees DI. I feel for Madame Faruzan, but I still want to ask her to come with us. But if I get her in trouble with the academia,
Let's think of someone to get her then.
But if someone does complain to the academia, wouldn't it make Faruzan's situation more awkward? And if the academia investigated and found her at Party's DI, things would get even worse for her. Do you have some way to invite her over to Party's DI without stepping on the academia's toes?
I'm making of an idea.
Okay then, I'm counting on you.
Alright, so now we have a different,
I have to teach students from Haravatat, or owe Kasharawar a favor.
Madam Faruzan, we're back!
Well, since you're asking me so sincerely, let's just ignore the academia and...
Please, Madam Faruzan, focus. Today's the deadline.
I feel like Tanari wants to invite her over for some research.
Yes. I see. No wonder he sent you two over. Why, that lad didn't make it very clear in his letter, now did he? Otherwise, I would have reported it as part of my research.
Yeah, that's right! Master sent us over to explain everything to you.
Wait. Opportunities for collaborative research don't just come out of thin air. This seems like too much of a coincidence. Also, there isn't much overlap between Madame Faruzan's research and that of Amorta, right? What will you even be collaborating on?
Master wants to research...
A fully automated irrigation system.
A fully automated irrigation system?
Precisely. It's a system that can automatically adjust the amount of water it provides based on the season and the plant species involved. I saw a similar mechanism while exploring a rune in the rainforest. That's why Tainari wanted to collaborate with me.
A mechanism like that exists?
I found it 100 years ago, so it's only natural that you don't know about it. Why don't you go ask your teacher's teacher? Perhaps they've heard about it from their teacher.
But we can't prove its existence one way or the other, right?
Fret not. I'll have Tainari write an official proposal to the academia later. That should do it, right?
An official proposal. Fine. We haven't made any progress with either the collaborative project or the elective course anyway. I'll go inform my superiors now. Please do take care of the paperwork as soon as possible.
Sure. I'll be sure to needle him until he gets it done.
Well, a different ending.
Phew. I think she bought it.
That was a quick thinking back
Even
then.
though this is our first meeting, I must say, we make a good team.
Wow! You made up that excuse on the spot, huh? Madam Faruzan, did you really find an irrigation system 100 years ago? If the academia asks for any details...
Who knows? It's been 100 years, so it wouldn't be too surprising if I've forgotten a few details, no?
Huh? Then how will we explain things to them?
I'll let Tainari worry about whatever documents we might need to send to the academia. If I'm right, the request he has in store for me won't be any simpler than the academia nonsense.
Alright, well, we're gonna go meet him then. Sweet! Different ending, baby! Live ending.
Master, we're back!
You don't have to shout. I can hear you. Well, you got here much faster than I expected. I thought you'd have a lot more business to take care of.
Thanks to the Traveler, I was able to, pawn off various problems of mine onto others.
Onto others? What does that mean?
It's up to you, Taneri.
We can discuss that later. You're looking for me because of the thing you mentioned in the letter, right?
That's right. Please, follow me.
Alright. Oh, back where we meet the Scara Mooch. Oh, this! Oh! Is she gonna help him fix that? Kata!
A monster?
Don't be scared, Kale. This is the mechanical life form the Traveler and I saved a while back. Its name is Karkata. It's the final work of a late junior of mine.
You mean Abatui? He must have been a genius to create one of such polish all by himself. It's uncommon that a Spontamod researcher is able to create such an intricate machine. If he were still around, We could probably chat the day away. What a shame. Something seems wrong here. Have you been maintaining it? Mechanical life forms are much more fragile than they look.
Is Karkata...
Karkata has been lying down like this since a few days ago. It could be an old malfunction acting up again. I've taken a few courses conducted by Spontamod before, so I've managed to perform some passable repairs on Karkata's energy supply module. However, it seems the issue this time is with its transmission. My knowledge can only prevent its condition from deteriorating any further. But, Madame Faruzan, you should be able to find a way to repair it.
Not necessarily. Mechanical life forms are created using techniques from alchemy, elemental science, and more. There are multiple modules here that influence each other. A simplistic knowledge of mechanisms will not serve here. You know that as well. Each mechanical life form is very different from the next. So even I cannot be sure if my understanding of mechanical life forms is going to be of any use to our little crab friend here.
Karkata...
Can you all go outside for a minute? I need a bit of space. Before I do a thorough check, everything we've just said is but conjecture.
Alright.
We're counting on you, Madame Faruzan.
No, we said the same thing, Canary.
Who knew that I'd encounter a mechanical life form in this manner after 100 years?
Oh, alright. Hello, Canary.
We'll wait here till Faruzan finishes her inspection. In the meantime, I'd like to talk to you about her.
So what did ask about her?
Her past, huh? Quite a few people in the academia know about what happened to her. Perhaps it'd be best if I'm the one to tell you. I've told you before that she disappeared for 100 years, right? From her perspective, trapped might be a more apt description. Her
Trapped.
exact words were...
That ruin was crawling with traps and coded inscriptions from wall to wall. I did all I could to decipher the code and deactivate the traps to escape the ruin, but there was no way out. I lost track of time and I ran out of pen and paper. In the end, I had to use stone shards to write on the walls and on the floor to decipher the code. Then, before I realized it, I ran out of space on the walls and floor. I had to calculate all the possibilities in my mind.
She is smart.
After that, my memory started to become fuzzy, and my cognition slowed down.
She doesn't remember anything else, including the location of the ruin and how she finally managed to escape. When she was found in the outskirts of Sumeru a few years ago, she looked exactly the same as she did 100 years prior. However, she was in a stupor and struggled to form sentences. Only after a lengthy recovery period could she speak again. The academia speculates that she must have gotten trapped in an unknown ruin while researching machines a century ago. And because of the ruin's special properties that halted her aging, she was able to use those 100 years to crack the trapping mechanism and then escape.
100
Though she had finally
years?
broken free, 100 years had passed.
Oh
Everyone she
no.
knew, and everyone who knew her was already gone. In the end, even the academia had to rely on century-old records in the Akasha to confirm her existence. Don't make that face. I'm not telling you this because I want to drum up sympathy. She wouldn't want others to pity her because of past events. Rather, she sees that period of entrapment as an experimental error. As a researcher, she must accept everything that results from her experiments. Even after going through so much, she's returned to Sumeru and still hasn't given up on her research. Due to changes over the years and drift in academic subjects, she holds some rather strong opinions about the current academia, and she has no
Nice.
shortage of detractors herself. What I want to say is that no matter what era we're in, Faruzan is a true senior researcher in every sense of the word. She has her own deep understanding of various ruins and machines. If there's a chance, you should talk about them with her. It'll definitely be helpful for your journey.
Hey.
Master, Madame Faruzan's done.
Oh? Let's head over. With any luck, she might have figured something out.
Alright. Oh,
I never
okay.
thought that I'd encounter a restitution module once again after 100 years. Abatui really installed quite a few impressive things on this. If my guess is correct, this mechanical life form has displayed attempts at self-sustenance before, right? Such as collecting parts to repair itself, for instance?
Yeah, it's collected part before, yes.
It used them for something else, but as far as its design goes, it does have a function like that.
I knew it. If I'm not wrong, Karkata's issue lies with its restitution module. Abatui's modified this module extensively, but the core parts and design philosophy are very similar to the principles as I know them. They are all based on principles learned from the ruins. The creators of the Ruins machine once tried to create a perpetual mechanism that could replace life or even surpass it. The restitution module is the result of one of their countless attempts. It replicates the behavior of living things to achieve a self-repair function. However, the energy required in maintenance of the module became an issue.
Oh, what's the issue?
Energy consumption? Maintenance?
Oh, Kali doesn't know these
For
words.
example, a living thing's heart can deliver nutrients and blood to various organs. However, the bigger the living thing, the more powerful the heart needs to be.
Oh, yeah,
Once
that's
the heart
true.
is damaged, it'll be hard for that living thing to heal itself, and even the function of other organs can be affected. Thus,
Now what
the
happens
attempt
to
wasn't widely adopted. Even
this
100
buddy?
years ago, I'd only seen it once before. Oh dear, this is going to be a problem.
Why's
Based
that?
on my current research, I'll need to swap out the damaged parts in the restitution module to repair Karkata. But like I just said, the module is rare, even by the standards of ancient machines. Not only that, but there is very little related research documentation available. Finding suitable parts would be like trying to find a single gear in the vast desert, to say nothing of the difficulty in making those parts from scratch. One can only wonder where Abatui found the original parts.
I might have an idea. Abatui was, for a time, quite passionate about excavating the Great Red Sand. This was when he had just gotten expelled from the academia.
You mean to say he found a restitution module in the desert? Oh, that is indeed possible.
But the desert's huge! How are we supposed to find the parts that Karkata need?
According to the Academia's records, no similar parts have been found in the Great Red Sand over the past 100 years. If we want to try our luck, we'll have to explore ruins that have never been explored before.
I do know that a Vahumana researcher formed an expedition team after the sandstorms and earthquakes subsided. They are now exploring areas of the desert that used to be difficult to access.
Should we ask them if they've made any new discoveries lately?
The chances are slim, but it's at least more effective than running around like headless chickens.
The archaeology team currently
His
stationed.
name is Raid. I think he's stationed at the northeast part of the Hypostyle Desert. Let's go look for him once Karkata settles down.
Okay.
Oh, you and Kale should probably stay. Karkata's condition may be stable, but it would still be better if some of us stay to look after it. Besides, you still need to take care of the trouble that the Academia left for me.
Trouble from the academia? I thought you said you pawned it off to someone else. Wait, don't tell me.
Yeah. Look at his
I'll
face.
let Kale fill you in on the details. I look forward to seeing your work, Tainari.
His face was like, oh, you did not just...
A fully automated irrigation system. That's quite the task.
Master, can I help with anything at all? I can go buy things, prepare pen and paper.
Oh, you know, I seem to remember that you have a lot of homework today.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I do.
Well, hurry up and finish it so you can sleep early, or Faruzan will worry. That's the best thing you can do now to—
Oh.
Alright, well, let's go help Faruzan at the desert, which is oh, luckily. Luckily I have that, or else I would have run so long. That is support? What the?
What is this?
Halt! Mr. Raid's permission is required to proceed any further.
The researcher from academia.
That still won't do. Mr. Raid told us to keep people away from the ruins so they don't damage the site.
Damage the site? I've excavated more ruins than you've visited restaurants. which batch of students is Raid from? I want to see him right now.
He isn't at the campsite now. You should all leave. Only he can give you permission to enter.
What a stubborn guy.
Yes.
You're right. Even if there is new information, we still have to wait for him to come back so we can ask him about it. So let's just see what we can find out from the people here. I'm going to give that Raid a good talking to when he gets back. Starting from who in the world mentored you?
That machine looks amazing. The location seems to fit too.
The ruins. Don't know anything. Forget excavation. They won't even let us get close to the camp where they're staying.
This then?
This area used to be ravaged by frequent sandstorms. They say that this was done by a single traveler.
Lumine, perhaps? Was that Lumine?
Well, I found out everything I could. Is there anything that stands out to you?
The sandstone
To
disappearing?
be honest, the ruins were difficult to excavate in the past, but they really are much safer now, thanks to you. However, I'm more concerned about this Ruin Wanderer they speak of. Ruin Wanderer. That's the first time I've heard that name.
What's so weird
That
about it?
one's a bit far away, and I can't really say for sure from this distance. Perhaps we should ask the villager from before about the legend first.
Right?
Huh? What are you guys doing back here?
Tell more about the legend of the Ruin Wanderer.
I wouldn't blame you for not knowing about it, youngsters. After all, it's a tale that's over a decade old. It's said that this monster, the Ruin Wanderer, traversed through various ruins for centuries. Many adventurers had claimed to see it while exploring. Some said that it was like a giant, while others said that it was like a beast. However, none knew why it wandered the ruins. Then, about 10 years ago, we stopped hearing any news about it in Sumeru. No one has seen it since then, and the legend has since faded into memory. You youngsters probably don't know about the Ruin Wanderer nowadays, but it was famous for centuries.
Centuries? Impossible. I heard nothing about it back then. It could only have been around for a few decades at most.
Wait, back then?
Indulge my curiosity for a moment. Why do you think that wreckage is the Ruin Wanderer?
Well, I had also heard that secondhand from...
You heard that nonsense from the Eremites after they got drunk, right?
Who are you?
Madam Faruzan, it is a pleasure. I'm Raid, the one who organized this archaeological expedition. I'd heard of you at the Academia, and this must be the famous traveler, I presume?
Have you found any special contraptions and relics in the ruins that you've been investigating?
I'm ashamed to say that we haven't found anything noteworthy, even though we've been investigating for a while now.
Really? That Ruin Wanderer isn't noteworthy to you?
I'm afraid those are mere rumors.
You're right, sir. I'll get back to work now.
The wise do not buy into rumors, so it is said. I believe that you too, Madam Faruzan, do not put any stock into such baseless talk.
It is also said that real knowledge shall come from practice. You can take credit for any new discoveries. I believe this offer to be sufficiently attractive.
In truth, I could ask for nothing better than your help with our research. However, you two must be tired after a long journey. I'd feel bad if I set you to work immediately. It's getting late and my subordinates and I are heading back to the camp to rest. Why don't you find a place to spend the night first? There's a tent that the villagers occasionally use to rest. It's a bit simple, yes, but I hope you won't mind.
Since you need to rest as well, let's do just that.
Up. Since it's there, I'm going back here. It's super late now, and I'm pretty tired. Oh, anyway, thank you for streaming. Wait, no. Thank you for joining. I'm the one who streamed. We got Shenhe, which is a good thing, and I'll hope to see you all in the next stream, where we continue with Faruzan.